Welcome to Prerona Television Canada on behalf of Global Academy of Holistic Leadership and Coaching. We are very happy. We are continuing our regular speaker series, and today is our episode 70. And today's our topic is leadership and environment. I will be discussing a couple of things today: understanding the environment, creating leadership presence, and leading in different environment. As you know, that we have been doing this leadership speaker series for more than a year, and this is a continuation of our effort to sharing our knowledge and our experience with you. As usual, we have our regular trainer and speaker, Advocate Jiaur Rahman is with us, and he is the CEO of IITM and adjunct faculty of Independent University. He has a lot of experience in the industry and academia. He will be sharing with you different perspective of leadership and environment. So I now welcome Advocate Jiaur Rahman to continue his session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Edward Probi Mondal. I'm just, give me a second to share my slide. I think you can see the slides, right?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be returning back again with our session. Today's topic is leadership and environment. We are going to be focusing on issues of the environment and how the environment has an impact on leadership and vice versa. So as a professional manager or as an entrepreneur, we have to realize that it is not all about our charisma. It's not all about our capability and skills that are needed to run an organization or to frame a new organization. We would like to be focusing on the issue of having a holistic leadership domain and perspective that will allow a proper facilitation and proper growth of leadership within the environment. And when we talk about leadership in today's session, we are going to be talking about leadership from all angles. It's not just leadership from the top. It is leadership from within, from different people within the departments and all of it. So the environment and the ambience of the organization is relevant in the design of the leadership within an organization. So moving forward, we normally have some definitions, quotations. Today's quotation is by John Meleka. He says, leadership is the creation of an environment in which others are able to self-actualize in the process of completing the job. The idea of self-actualization is a perspective where you are feeling confident and you are happy with the way you are moving with your activities within an enterprise. So you feel confident, you feel excited, and you are adding value to the organization. So in that perspective, leadership is actually creating that particular environment where you're allowing others to grow with their own self-actualization perspective. They are feeling confident. They know that they mean business, and their input and their thoughts and their activities within the enterprise are adding value. And that itself will cumulatively work towards building the potential output or the vision that you are setting for the organization. In other words, you are driving forward towards attainment of a particular job. When we talk about leadership, basically we're also considering that certain jobs have to be done through the leadership process or through the leadership design. So when you are in an actualization model or actualization mode, you feel confident. You're up there. You are calling shots. You're sensing that others are listening to you. Others are taking your inputs and driving forward. So you are passionately part of the system, you're passionately driving the system forward, and that's when the entire organization is moving in the right direction. And when we talk about this leadership, we're not just talking about the top leader in this perspective. We're talking about the environment in which leadership can thrive. Even when you are in a smaller position in life, you will be focusing on many issues where you have to make a particular judgment call. You have to make a particular decision. So as a professional, as a entrepreneur, let's say, there will be moments where you make a important decision, and that decision can either make you into a better professional or actually make a bad decision for your organization. As quickly as you can, if the bad decisions you can learn from and create a better outcome, that will be proper leadership. However, this actualization process is all about framing your mindset so that you actually deliver as a professional leader. So moving forward, this is another quote by Richard Terrelink. He says, as a leader, your principal job is to create an operating environment where others can do great things. The whole idea of doing great things for the enterprise, for the organization. If everybody begins to do better things and great things, what will happen? Imagine yourself in an environment, and if you're doing really good and the things that you had thought for the organization, and if you are being able to get it done, how will you feel? You will be super excited. You will feel that I mean business, I have the capacity. You will automatically develop yourself to be a more productive, more passionate, more energized human resource. You will be adding more value to the organization. So that's the entire perspective of a leader. The leader would be to be, the leader should be there to create that ambience, should be there to create that environment in which the the people will be thriving and the people will feel confident. It's all about the support base that is out there within an enterprise. There are organizations where there are leaders per se who are dominating leaders who feel that without their input, things will not work. So they are constantly influencing, they're constantly telling people to do what to do, and giving this signal in that enterprise that without my decision, without my support, you guys will not be able to get to where we want our organization to move. If this spirit is driven forward, then what will happen is over a period of time, it will automatically be a second nature for everyone to listen in, for the leader to speak and then do the work activity. And what will happen is ultimately the burden will shift of the burden of responsibility of getting things done will shift from you to the leader without the leader really knowing. The leader might think that I am passionate, I am driving the organization forward, and everybody is listening to me. That might be a perspective that might work for a while, but as you grow into a bigger enterprise, and truly if you are leading, the enterprise will automatically grow. So assuming with this perspective you are growing, ultimately it will backfire on you, because how can you have an input on every single matter? How can you have input on every single issue that are relevant to this organization? So things will start to stagger. Things will take time for you to actually take the decision. So everybody will be waiting for you. If you're sick for 3 days, all activities which are relevant to the organization, which would be potentially adding value, would be stuck because the leader is not there, and we have to wait till the super boss or the big boss will come and give us the direction. That will not be the right strategy in today's marketplace. So the environment has to be created. This is for all of you. This is for every single person right now listening in, to start building a capacity base amongst your team members, so that even if you are not available in the job for a particular period of time, others can almost pick up to your level and get on with the activities of the enterprise, and even take larger or important decisions which you would have been taking for the enterprise, for the welfare and growth of the organization. So that is a capacity building exercise and the environment that you have to develop for the organization. And that is how truly a leadership structure and a leadership design is created within the enterprise. So let's start practicing these issues on a daily basis from today, and employ your other people within the enterprise to start taking decisions in your absence. Moving forward, this is by General Omar Bradley. He says the greatness of a leader is measured by the achievements of the led. This is the ultimate test of his effectiveness, in this case, his or her. What is this perspective? The perspective is that the people whom you are leading, if they achieve success, then their success is your success. So as a professional, as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a politician, our focus should be to ensure that the people whom we guide or whom we focus on, they have to develop their own particular capacity so that they become efficient, so that they become confident, they become more resourceful persons in their work activities. So if you can create this cluster of really capable people or human resource base who can navigate themselves and truly lead within an environment, then truly the success is yours. You have become a transformational leader. You have been able to guide them, and then they are in a position to self develop. They have developed themselves to a certain level so that they are now mini leaders by their own merit, by their own rights. So this is the perspective of a proper leadership design or proper leadership that ought to be rolled out in any enterprise. So moving forward, this is by another person, General George S. Patton. Never tell people how to do things. Tell them what to do, and they will surprise you with their ingenuity. The whole focus is creativity and ingenuity. You need to hire people who have the creative skills. If they have the creative skills, then in an enterprise which is dealing with new innovation and new perspective, these people will innovate and out innovate beyond even your comprehension, because you have opened the floor, you have given the opportunity for them to design the new organization or design the new product. So they will work and create their own understanding and develop the enterprise forward. So you will be surprised. So leadership is actually giving this platform, giving this avenue for people to grow within the framework of the organization. So as a professional, if you are starting to think that how can I lead my enterprise, these are the small tricks of the trade where you can build the momentum within the organization. If you give some ideas to some people and tell them to wing the ideas forward, and if they start developing the ideas forward, whereas you are not into the system, you are there like a guide or a mentor, but they are formulating the ideas and they are visioning forward and they're creating the new product or service for the enterprise, then actually you are leading the enterprise. Otherwise, your time is being uh, inputted into these smaller activities where the larger design of the enterprise will be affected, because you are going into nitty-gritties, whereas your focus should have been on the macro perspective of moving the organization to the next level. So many of us fall into this trap of micromanagement. So the leadership design and the environment has to be developed in such a way that you are, maybe at times you need to micromanage, because if things are going wrong and you need to show the direction as to how to get things done, you can dabble into the idea of micromanagement, but that should not be your forte as a leader. That should not be your focus area as a leader. You need to be focused on designing the future state from a the holistic or 360-degree focus or macro environmental focus, and let others deal with the smaller issues but relevant issues for the welfare of the organization. So as a professional, we have to be constantly thinking that how can we allow our team members to grow so that they can ultimately surprise us with a product or service which we were not even expecting from them. And that's where the energy or the impetus or the real passion that will be built within the enterprise, and that will grow and it will accelerate, because one person's creativity, one person's energy and passion will rub onto others, and others will also feel ignited and excited to deliver up to the level of this person. So the environment has to be created in such a way that you allow growth. At the same time, you have to allow failure. If you don't allow failure, then growth will not take place. We had actually covered the issues of allowing failure for a manager in order for that person to feel confident as to go and dabble with new areas and find out the right tempo, the right speed, and the right type of product and services that would be relevant for your enterprise. And in this process, obviously, there will be points and moments where you would be failing with a product or a service. So as a professional, as a top leader, at that point, you should not be castigating your team members. Rather, you tell them to bounce out of their moments of frustration or moments of failure by finding new opportunities or redesigning certain components of that product or service. So that's very important. Moving forward, this is my definition. Leadership is about understanding the environment, creating your presence in it, and then strengthen their mindset to do better. When we talk about their mindset, we're talking about the people within our enterprise, the enterprise that you are running. So whole focus is to be part and parcel of the system first. The environment has to be understood in its proper dimension. Once you understand the environment, then you are going to be creating a presence within the environment. You will know what ticks and what does not, and then you will have an ambient environment. And then using that ambient environment, you can move the enterprise forward. You can guide people. People will start listening to you. And that's when the real strength of leadership will be seen or noticed, and you will automatically rise as a leader. You don't have to push on your leadership position on them. They will automatically be interested in listening to you and getting your feedback so that they can actually harness the energy and passion that you have, and they can develop themselves forward. So in that capacity, they will maybe sometimes need knowledge. They will go and gather knowledge. Sometimes they will need particular skills. Sometimes they will need a huge level of communication and networking skills. All of these combined will facilitate their growth. And how is this going to happen? It is through your passionate environmental presence, your passionate presence as a human being, as a leader, as a guide, as a mentor in that space. So as professionals, we have to be thinking that it's not just my quality only. I have to be very much understanding of the environment in which I operate, and using the environment to our advantage, we move the enterprise forward. Moving forward, leadership and understanding the environment. We have just covered some of it, so I'll just quickly go through this. You have to align yourself with the vision that you have set for the organization when you're designing the leadership for your enterprise. So environment has to be in line with the vision. If the environment is not conducive to the vision setting that you had undertaken, either you will have a failed situation or a less comprehensive situation. So you may have to develop the game plan in a slightly different way. So altering the game plan would be the need of the time based on the environmental factors. The next point is embed leadership values in the process. Obviously, some of the leadership processes, your motivation, your proper communication, your resilience, your effective effort, your passion, and strength areas, and your knowledge base that you put into your enterprise, and the teamwork. So all of these leadership values should be embedded in the process, and the environment will automatically be running with these positive ingredients, and then the success within the enterprise will take place. Organize clean and non-ambiguous culture. This is important. If your culture within the enterprise is not very solid, people are backbiting, people have a political motive in the sense that they are doing politics within themselves and lobbying for some people, whereas they don't really have the capacity to deliver the right set of results, but still you are operating in that kind of herd mentality and supporting certain people within the enterprise. All of these are toxic issues within the enterprise, and you have to be careful as not to be aligned with any kind of toxic environment. So the culture has to be fluid, the culture has to be open, the culture has to be developed in such a way that positive mindset people will be given the mantle to grow and accelerate. So it's not going to be your people, it's going to be the enterprise people with whom you're going to work. There would be people from different dimensions, different mindset, different philosophy, and different culture and race related relationships will be there. But you as a professional, you have to accommodate all of them and try to take the spirit of their energy and look at their positive areas and play down their negative areas or improve their negative areas and move forward. So this would be clearing the frustrations within the enterprise. It will also clearly show the direction for the enterprise. So a non-ambiguous environment would be the order of the day for a leader to proceed and create a workable environment. There is a concept of climate and environment and culture, which are intertwined. Climate is your own particular perspective within the enterprise. Culture is the organizational setup and the issues and norms and values with the enterprise. So the proper leader would be reflecting between the organizational culture and the climate in which he or she needs to navigate. The next point is put effective management policies, practices, and tone. We have to be careful as to understand that every organization needs to follow a certain principle and a practice. So if you can set these practices and norms and systems in operation, then pretty much maybe 60, 70, 80% of your effort would be directed in the right channel. People will not be dilly-dallying because they know that this is the structure, this is the system, this is the norm in which we will have to operate. So, for example, a key performance indicator is part of the management practice. If you have a reasonably qualified performance indicator matrix, then people will know that in order for me to proceed and develop myself within this enterprise, these are the common elements, the ingredients that I have to follow through, and I will be evaluated based on this, and my performance will be aligned with these indicators. So they will follow through this system, and automatically, due to having a proper system, things will operate properly. And the tone is your behavior, your mindset within the enterprise, the way people think, the way people do their operative activities within the enterprise. Every organization is slightly different, but you have to understand the environment and the tone of the overall organization to actually navigate and direct and guide people forward. Lead with sizing up the environment, which we are talking about all this time. The environmental assessment is vital. We have actually had sessions where we have talked about what is the relevance in terms of the environment in which you operate and how you can formulate a workable environment. So sizing up the environment, understanding what is going to be effective and what is not, and then designing your future state would be very much the order of the day. The next point is focus on building a sustainable culture and climate. We had talked about climate. So sustainable culture, what is that? It is the idea of making sure your enterprise succeeds in the coming days. You don't want to succeed brilliantly for the next 1 year or 2 years and then fail or flat on your face. No, you want an organization which will grow and which will create an opportunity for the people within the enterprise to move forward. So there would be a transition plan. There will be a growth opportunity for the people, and people will be thinking of their career at the same time. So this is part of your sustainable culture where people will feel happy working with this enterprise, and they will also know that my effort means business and adds value to the enterprise, and the climate in which I am operating is conducive. I feel confident, I feel happy returning to my work every day, and I am actually bringing a reward for the organization, and I'm being compensated for it adequately. So this is a win-win situation where you have a reasonably good structure, you have a system in place, the culture and organizational design is conducive, and you as a professional or as an entrepreneur feel confident that this is the climate in which you can actually deliver and create value for the enterprise. So all of these combined would be creating the journey of leadership, and the ultimate environment is actually the element which will be facilitating this leadership growth. So the element of environment has to be given due importance to, and then also at the same time the leadership. So combining these two, you create a wonderful enterprise. Moving forward, creating leadership presence. So how do we create our leadership presence? You don't just jump in and come and say that I'm the boss of this department from today, this is what I say, and you do accordingly. That may not work in today's marketplace. What you have to do is be open, facilitative, sharing your vision, talking to people and getting their feedback, and then nurturing the enterprise forward. So you have to show your commitment to the vision that you are setting or the organization has set, and your views and words should be reflective of all the activities that you do as a professional, as an entrepreneur, as a politician, as a social change agent. So in all areas, our activities should reflect or equate with what our activities should reflect with the words we churn out, the way we speak to people, and the way we ask them to do things. If I am not following through the same pattern, same focus, then ultimately you're telling stories to people which is not being backed by facts. And who's supporting the facts? You yourself. So this is a issue where your statements will not be taken seriously if you continue to do that. So as a leader, you have to be backing up your words and your views. Ensure organization-wide values and put them into action. So the value system has to be strong and sturdy. So if you are an organization who is talking about quality all the way, if you don't bring quality inputs at every single sector within your enterprise, then you are you're cheating the stakeholders, you're cheating your own internal people, because you're telling people on promoting value and ensuring value, whereas you are buying things or you're buying raw materials which are of less value to make a reasonably more profit. That will not work. So you have to put your values into action by taking the right steps within the enterprise. Focus on transformational leadership. This is something we have many different forms of leadership. We had talked about it previously, so I will not go into those areas. I'll just talk about creating a leadership presence that will allow you to really move the agenda of your enterprise to the next level, transforming the enterprise and really building the enterprise forward. So you must have the charisma, you must have the tenacious passion, and people will be really around you thinking that this is the leader whom we need to follow, because that leader has truly the capacity to engage people, direct people, motivate people. People will be in a followership role under this transformational leadership role. So if you want to create a leadership presence, one of the components is your transformational practice that you actually roll into your enterprise. And if you follow through this practice day in, day out, this system will also be transferring or trickling down into your other departments and other people within your enterprise. So everybody will start thinking of delivering at a higher level, higher capacity. So leadership facilitation will automatically take place. So leadership methodology or the leadership plan that you are operating with will roll down or will cascade down into your enterprise. And ultimately, this enterprise will look like a enterprise with right passion and right leadership. And that's what counts as a organization if you want to truly move the organization to the next level and drive the organizational change. That is must. If you don't drive your organization to change, because change is a constant that is being impacting society, impacting our organization. So through these type of leadership presence, you are building new fabric for the organization. You're building new potential products and services for the organization. You're bringing in new ideas to the enterprise. You're bringing new philosophy and new set of motivation for the enterprise, and everybody is aligning and connecting with your system. So this would be the ultimate journey of a proper leader. So I would be venturing you to start thinking in the design that you would like to build for your enterprise. First, think about the set of issues that are affecting your enterprise, and then start thinking how would be the rollout strategy to actually change the or improve upon the issues that are hurting your enterprise, and then start working towards it. Develop your communication, motivate your people, nurture them, mentor them, so that they can slowly evolve into handling these situations, and then take the situation and solve them at an appropriate level. And then you are actually moving a little step further with in terms of your capacity, in terms of your capability as an organization. So if these small meaningful steps are taken, ultimately the leadership will show forth within yourself. People will follow you, and others will also be aligning with your spirit, and they will also develop themselves to the next level. This would be creating a win-win situation. So moving forward, leading in different environments, it all matters where you're leading. Every enterprise is different. So when you're leading, you have to think of your enterprise, the environment in which you're trying to lead. No one size fits all strategy will work. So you have to be constantly vigilant on the idea that things all have to be altered given the context in which you're operating. Promote dialogue and seek input as you move ahead. This is important. Communication and dialogue will facilitate the growth of the enterprise. If you don't share your views, if you don't get people to share their views, it will be a choppy journey. You will stumble, you will have obstacles in your way, and that will slow you down as an organization. Assess environmental issues with clarity. We talked about clarity previously. So if your journey is clear, if you know the ship is sailing into a safe path, then obviously you're going to reach your destination faster. So that's the whole point. You have to understand what would be the journey that you are creating, whether it's a new product or whether you're creating a new service or a new philosophy that you're rolling out for your organization, social, political, or business organization. The clarity should be there, and the environment should be conducively factored or conducively looked upon, and then the design of the new perspective should be rolled out, and then you will have a better journey and output will be much more effective. Think and act with innovation in mind. Obviously, if you are thinking with an old mindset and not taking this perspective that we need to change at times, then obviously you will stumble, you will have a very difficult journey, and ultimately your energy level will sap, your zeal will fall down, your passion will be punctuated. So you don't want to be in those type of environments. So moving with an innovation in mind will actually help you to facilitate the growth that you want to charter for your organization and arrive at the vision that you have set for the organization. The last but not the least is your communication clarity. We know that many great leaders are brilliant, but they fail to communicate well with their team members, and then things go astray. Things don't work out as he or she had planned. Whereas this person truly had the capacity in terms of, intellectual capacity, but because the connection between this person and the team members was not at a very solid level due to non-effective communication, they might feel, your people might feel left out, and you might feel that why aren't the people supporting me, because I have a great and grand idea. So there would be a confusion and frustration that will be flowing within the enterprise. You won't be able to see it, you won't be able to touch it, but it will be there and it will ebb the flow of growth. So you don't want to be in those type of scenarios. So the environment where you really want to drive your organization forward should be where the proper communication is taking place day in, day out. So moving forward, we would like to I would like to articulate the fact that environment is huge. And if you are understanding the environment from the 360-degree angle, then as a leader, you will be doing much better, and the team members within your enterprise will also do much better. Moving forward, I'm at the end of my session. Normally, I end with a million-dollar question. Today's million-dollar question is, can we identify any particular trait in a leader fit for specific managerial roles? This is hard to tell because each managerial role is different. If you are a manager in a finance institution versus if you're a manager in a manufacturing enterprise, your roles would be in some ways similar, but in many ways different. Certain issues will not be there in one of these enterprises, whereas you will have to really work on those issues in a particular enterprise, which will not be at all significant in another enterprise. So I would not be, you would not be able to just say that this trait is relevant for this enterprise, because the managers are also constantly being pushed with new issues, new challenges on a daily basis. What is the role of a manager? The manager's role is to ensure that the ship it goes through a particular journey and reaches a safe shore. That means the manager is given a set of tools and set of resources, and within this he or she operates so that the output that is expected of him or her is actually achieved. So in this capacity, things are transforming, things are changing, things are volatile due to the environment, due to the economy, all of that. So certain traits could be important. One of the trait is self-discovery, a particular trait that you as a manager, you have to be confident about your own role. And if you at point make mistake, you can quickly understand where is the mistake that had taken place, and then you can immediately rectify. That's one particular trait of a leader or a manager. The other issue is managers must have the trait of being open to communication. If you are closed with your mind and not listening to your audience or your stakeholders, then obviously you will not be a good manager. It doesn't mean that you have to listen to them all the time, because sometimes your perspective might be the right perspective, and while you listen to other people, you get confused and you take the wrong direction, whereas your original perspective was the better perspective. So this is a very tricky matter as to how open you would be in terms of listening into the people around you. So the other trait is being able to motivate the
overall direction and passion of your team members, and giving them the confidence that they matter and their input is equally important. So a manager must be able to facilitate this spirit that, yes, I am managing you, or I am like a mentor to your team, but it is you or the team of you, 5 or 10 or 100 people who are actually contributing to the welfare and development of this enterprise. So I will I will particularly have this view that some traits are cross-cutting across all managers. However, certain particular traits of extreme passion might be more important in a particular job, a job where you are dealing with external people and stakeholders, and you are constantly have to answer their queries. Patience would be another trait which would be very much needed. All managers need patience, but in the case of certain managers who are absolutely dealing with day-to-day interaction with customers, you must have more patience than others who are just being managers and running back office issues. So having said this, I would like to finish my session for today, and thank you very much. I am Advocate Ziaur Rahman. I am with Independent University and CEO of IITM, signing off from Dhaka. Thank you very much for listening in, and we welcome you to our session next week, same time. Thank you very much. Back to you, Edward Probir Mondo.
All right. Thank you very much, Advocate Ziaur Rahman, for your wonderful presentation. With that, we conclude our 70th episode of Leadership Speaker Series. I welcome you to attend our session next week, same time. And we'll be, as you know, that this is actually broadcasted from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and which is a Mountain Standard Time. And as a daylight savings time, we have a little bit time differences right now, 1 hour differences with Bangladesh and India. So we'll be conducting our session at 8 p.m. at Eastern at Mountain Standard Time, and 10 p.m. at Eastern Standard Time, which is Toronto and Ottawa, and Bangladesh Standard Time will be 9 a.m. on Thursday morning, and Indian Standard Time would be 8:30 a.m. on Thursday morning. With that, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, and stay safe and stay blessed.